Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about a bunch of different things. There's a few talking points. Some of them have been submitted to me as questions, and others are really more like an energy update that I want to do for you guys because these energies have been super duper intense. I actually went through an upgrade, DNA upgrade, starting last Monday, and it lasted probably until Thursday morning. Thursday morning, I had integrated all the frequencies and I was back on track on Thursday, but it was a very intensive for a couple of days from Monday through Wednesday night. And the reason for that is, of course, I've talked about this many times that I use my body as the conduit for these incoming codes and to assist and support the multi-level, multi-layer templates here in New York, which is where I live. I'm out on Long Island, but I'm still serving that template wipe in order to upgrade and level the codes, which means I have to consistently upload myself too. So, we're all doing something similar to this, but these codes coming in, they're activating more of the freedom codes within us. So some of you may have noticed that you're feeling more free. You're starting to have greater clarity to actually what is going on in the illusion that we've been playing under. And so we're also in these high creator codes, creator go mode, where we're just feel like, creating and making something or writing or dancing or sharing. And I actually have a project in the works that I will be rolling out soon at the beginning of December, and you'll all be invited to join. This is a new project that is going to keep us all in these higher aligned creative codes coming in, these light influxes, so that we could stay up in the creator space where we need to be playful and experience ourselves, okay? Because that's really the most important thing. So I'll be rolling that out and, giving you the update on that. And so these light frequencies are very intensified. We're still having these magnetic shifts consistent on the earth. And you can listen back a few of my other videos where I talk about that. It's very, very important because it's pulling the magnetics of our field as we're experiencing these shifts that are taking place. And it could bring up emotions in a second that you didn't even realize you had. And the next thing you know, you're sitting, sobbing, and you're not even really sure why you're sobbing. Or on the other hand, it could pull up emotions that are unbelievably joyful, and you're just feeling so happy, so much appreciation. And that too can be a little confusing if you're not used to feeling that way. Okay. So a lot of shifting taking place, a lot of revelations happening as we are looking around, recognizing what we want in our lives and what we no longer want in our lives or are not willing to tolerate. I know I have had consistent timelines coming up. Last night, I had a multitude of timeline experiences in dream state because they're not dreams. You could go back to some of my other videos where I talk about that. They are all timelines that are coming up for clearing. And some of these timelines went back to my first marriage back in the mid to late 80s and a situation that was taking place then. So it's timelines that are clearing. And how I know is, well, I woke up and I remembered some of that. And then I remembered some of the other timelines, and it felt like it was all interwoven into one timeline. Now, as we start to move into these higher creator states of being, we're also going to have an awareness that when we look back at our past, we may not be able to see our past clearly. In other words, somebody was asking me something about my history with my spirituality, and I was trying to remember, what year or how far back or how it came about, because it had to do with health and wellness, and how I got on the path to understanding how to read the energetics of the body, and to know, more like a medical medium type of stuff when something's going on within the field, within the physical body. And I was trying to figure that out, and I was looking back and really couldn't figure out the timeline. And it seemed like it was just kind of like all meshed together, and it was all happening at the same time. Now I know that that wasn't the case. And then for a second I thought, well, was I still at my job at that time? Was it after I had cancer and I'd gone through the first stages of, like, discovery of foods and health and all of that stuff? Because, so I'll give you an example of it. Somebody had been coming up with issues surrounding fibromyalgia. And I had intuited, and I'm like, my intuition kept saying that they were ingesting something with like, like a substitute sugar, like a sweetener, like a Sweet and Low or Equal or something like that. And at first the person's like, no, I don't use any of those sweeteners or anything like that. And I'm like, well, you must be using it in your soda then. You must be drinking diet soda. And they were like, yes, I am drinking diet soda. I drink like 3 bottles of diet soda a day. And I'm like, well, stop doing that, because the aspartame in there is what's causing the fibromyalgia. And and so it was a conversation based on that, because we were talking about health issues within the body. And then I had explained to the person that the artificial sugar was all chemicals, and the chemical that kind of equals an embalming fluid. So the reason that you feel fibromyalgia throughout your whole body is because of the nature of the way that that artificial sugar works. Anyway, so what they were drinking the soda, and of course, first when I said this, and I believe that if I'm getting the date right on this, I mean, this is going back to somewhere in the early 2000, right? Maybe 2000, might have even been a little bit before that. Might have been before I had cancer, but probably around 2000. And they thought like I was bananas, right? And then they actually tried it. They said, all right, I'm going to take you up on the challenge, and I'm going to try it for a month. And after a month, their fibromyalgia was reduced by 50%, and they noticed significant differences. If I'm recalling correctly, she could not, she had a hard time sitting because her legs would go numb, her thighs and her legs would go numb. So she was having a problem with that. And the more she was willing to let go of the soda, the diet soda, the fibromyalgia was clearing up more and more and more. And until months later, because I hadn't heard from her in months, and I just figured, maybe she went back to drinking soda. But months later, she reached out to me and she was like, oh my God, that's crazy, but I do not have fibromyalgia anymore. So it just, if we're playing in the illusion and we're creating the unhealthiness, the discomfort in our body, then we're feeding and we're playing into that. And then of course we want to medicate it with all kinds of medication and everything else, right? Well, these higher timelines, these higher states of consciousness, they require that we become really clear. They require that we start to detox ourselves from these, chemicalized foods that we're eating. So if you're noticing yourself kind of being driven toward eating more whole, organic, natural foods, that's all part of this, revelation of on many levels on our physical body, and how our physical body needs to be cared for, but also at the level of the spiritual body, because that's really what's important. And, I can tell you that, yes, ascension can give you that feeling like you have fibromyalgia, but the only reason that it would play out in that way is because of what you're holding in your field that would actually create the fibromyalgia in your body. Because in other words, you could be holding something in your field that would create the feeling of, heart palpitations or heart flutters, right? Or you can have something that you're dealing with that creates a frozen shoulder, like, an earlier session that I did just before I got on to make this video. And it's not actually a physical issue. It's not a physical issue. It's a buildup of energy that's locked and stored in the body. And then we have to let go so that we're not creating that anymore, because it's actually our thoughts and our emotions. Our thoughts become electric, and they're the spark that goes out and starts the ball rolling, and then we're out years into the future. And the physical body, of course, the heart center is magnetic, so it wants to magnetize to those thoughts and bring that in, right? This is how we cause illness in the body. I don't want to stay on this too much. If you guys are interested in more of that, I would certainly do more videos based on illness in the body. But my point is we have to let go of that, the thought process that, we're sick and that there's something wrong with us. Because all this is as we hit these higher timelines and these higher intensified energies, we're actually manifesting our thoughts and emotions very quickly in a physical form in the body. And that's what's creating the illness. Okay. So we want to, we don't have to, but we definitely want to, we should be tuning in at the level where we're hearing and we're feeling, right? Feeling into these codes, these creator codes, knowing that they're available to us, knowing that the freedom codes are available to us, and finding ways that we can access our freedom and the feeling of freedom that we have, because there are no limitations or restrictions. Okay, there aren't. And I know there's so much going on because we're hearing about this and we're hearing about that. And it just feels like, it's never ending now. Maybe COVID is starting to wind down, and then all of a sudden we're presented with something else that's going to come in and, try to take us out. Right. But if we're coming from that perspective, then that's what we're going to experience. And we're going to keep experiencing that because we're building that into our reality. Okay. Yesterday, based on the information coming from one of my clients, I watched a movie. I don't really watch any TV. I mean, I don't watch any TV. I don't even really listen to the radio. I listen to mostly just, higher level stuff. Anyway, I watched this movie called Free Guy, and it's about a computer game, and the guy in the computer game starts to figure out that there's more to what he's experiencing than just being an NPC, non-player character in this video game. And it's because the two people that wrote the program built the program around him eventually waking up and figuring out what's going on, and then turning into like an AI technology, right? Now, it's the same thing here. Once we wake up, we take responsibility and we take control of ourselves, right? We're actually playing this out in a holographic reality where it can feel like everything is real. But the only reason it feels like it's real is because we're telling ourselves it's real. It's not real until we give it that substance behind it that makes it real. Okay. So yesterday I received a question from someone pertaining to 5G technology, right? Because now all the new cell phones are 5G, and 5G is the technology right now. And so my answer to that is going to be like my answer on the vax, right? So if we take the 5G into the higher timeline, then nothing can hurt us because we're not our physical body. We're not our physical body. We create our physical body with our thoughts and our words and our emotions. So whatever's taking place in our physical body, we're creating all of it, like it or not. That's how it works. It's that simple. We're creating all of it. Okay. So if I take it from third dimension, where it was created as something bad, as something that could potentially be harmful to us, and I bring it into my ninth dimensional higher self, my ninth dimensional oversoul self, then I could look at it from the perspective that it cannot harm me because I do not give it that power. Okay, it's like when I had cancer. I did not hand my power over to the cancer. I did not let cancer have any part of me. In other words, I always envisioned myself as more powerful than cancer. I saw cancer as a wake-up call for something that I was not doing, or maybe something that I needed to change in my life, something that I was doing that wasn't benefiting me in any way, shape, or form. Okay. But if we give something more power, like 5G technology, right? I mean, all of our cell phones are going to 5G, and I'm going to get an upgraded phone because like if my phone is not fairly new, I have trouble with it because I'm energy, and my energy interfaces with the energy of my phone. So when I have a phone that's an older energy and I'm expanding my consciousness and raising and elevating my energy field, elevating my consciousness, then I need to get a phone that's going to actually be able to keep up with me. How about that? That's another way of looking at this, right? So I need that 5G technology to measure up to my 5D90 self. Okay. So I'm not looking at it as if it's a bad thing. I'm looking at it and saying, well, the technology is suddenly starting to meet my needs, because the lower technology, I could feel it. It feels distorted. It's in the lower timeline, the timeline of 3G. 3D, when I get into, or maybe it is 3G, but when I get into the, creating in the 5D states, right, or 5G states, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's where I want to keep elevating. I want to keep going to the next thing. And I'm going to look at it as just a stepping stone to get me there. And I'm not going to see it as having a negative impact in my body in any way, shape, or form. Because if I do that, then I'm handing my power over to something else. And I'm saying, I'm not powerful enough. I'm not sovereign enough. I am not, uh, you know, um, the I am that I am. I'm not source. I'm not sourcing within myself. I'm playing into the game of separation. And that game of separation then makes me a victim, and it makes me a victim to everything. It makes me a victim to COVID. It makes me a victim to the vax. It makes me a victim to 5G. It makes me a victim to cancer. It makes me a victim to everything and anything, all distortions, right? You've heard me talk about anxiety and excitement having the same energy vibration. Now, how we use that energy and that vibration is up to us. We could take it into the lower level and be like, oh my God, I have so much anxiety. I don't know what's wrong with me. My body, everything's racing, whatever, whatever. Or we could say, oh my God, I'm feeling so much excitement. There's so much good stuff coming. I can't believe this. I can't wait. I'm feeling it. I'm tuning into it. And as I tune into it, it feels so exciting. And that excitement is pulling me higher, pulling me into the higher timelines, pulling me higher into my higher self, pulling me from 5D consciousness into 9D consciousness. Which would you prefer? The first scenario or the second scenario? Of course, we want the second scenario. So we have to pay attention to how we're creating in our reality, right? Because nothing can hurt us unless we believe it can hurt us. That's just how it goes. And all pain, I don't care what kind of pain it is, all pain is just to get our attention. It's an indicator where we're out of balance, right? For the last couple of days, the last few days, I've had pain in my right hip. And so right side is about moving forward. The hip is about feeling supported. And I thought to myself, I really don't feel like I'm not supported. I feel like I'm fully supported in everything I do. And then I had the tap on the shoulder from my higher self, yes. Yes, you do feel supported. You are your own support. You're your own magnificence. You're your own creation, right? You're creating from the higher timelines. But can you do it and be happy doing it from right where you are? And I'm like, what? I am happy. No, you're not. You are thinking about moving, you focus on moving, you want to move. And I'm like, yeah, well, I would like a bigger space. I would like maybe a bigger yard, so that I can, maybe I can have a horse, or I can have some animals, or maybe I could have the setup to do retreats, right? Wouldn't that be fun? We could do retreats, and I could invite people in for the weekend, and we could do some really fun in-person stuff together. And it could be amazing and exciting. And I see this vision, but I guess what's happening is I want that more than where I am currently physically right now. And that cannot be. So I'm out of balance in my body, out of balance in my right side, because right side's about moving forward. And I need to just be happy where I am and dream that timeline into existence, match the frequency of it, match the vibration of that timeline, and then float that timeline in when the time is ready. I have to match that vibration that I desire, right? And sometimes when we're impatient, and I grew up impatient, and I have to remind myself, I have people tell me all the time, you have the most patience out of anybody I've ever met in my life. And I probably do. I've developed that. I've worked really, really, really hard on being okay with where I am and what's taking place and being tuned in the moment of being in the moment. But I guess there are moments where my impatience wants me to be someplace else. So again, that pain in my hip is merely showing up as a reflection to say, okay, you're not focused on where you are. So come back to your present state of being, come back to where you are, be completely content with where you are, be completely happy with where you are, not needing to be anywhere else, knowing that that timeline is there because I see it, I feel it. It's starting to come together in my mind, just like this house came together when it started to manifest in the reality. I started getting glimpses of it, and I knew it was going to be at the back end of the court, and it was going to look like a ranch, although I think it's considered a split level. And so all of these things, and then I knew the mailbox was going to add up to the number 11 because that was my mom's number for me. She's on the other side. So I had all of this awareness, right? But if I'm ahead of the game and I'm not letting it unfold and I'm pushing it and I'm rushing it and trying to get there faster than what my reality is allowing for, in other words, I still have to hit certain things in my personal co-creation with my universe that will actually bring in that timeline for me and float in that timeline. So this is where I have to be, right? So it's really important to be very, very cognizant, be very aware that we are in a time right now where we can manifest very quickly, but we have to do it the right way. We have to be effective and efficient in manifestation. Otherwise, we're not going to be bringing in those timelines that we desire. So how do we do this? We do this by doing what I've been doing. And you probably have noticed I haven't been on social media very much. I haven't been posting, between going through the upgrades of my DNA and coming further into my spiritual alignment. I haven't really felt like being on social media. I haven't felt like sharing anything because I'm in that blissful creator state. I just want to be, and I don't want to be projecting anything or putting anything out. And that means I'm not on social media because I don't need to be there. I'm better purposed, you could say, just being present for what's showing up in my reality and being a good receiver to that, and then elevating my frequencies and my codes by playing in the higher timelines and accessing the freedom that I feel within, and portraying that freedom in everything that I do. Okay. And all social media, while I love it dearly, right? Because it's a really great platform for getting this important information out. What I don't love about it is it was created in 3D. It was created for other purposes that are not for the purpose of me getting out this higher level spiritual information to you. Okay. So it's kind of a conundrum for me, because on one hand, I need it as a platform. And on the other hand, what it was created for keeps it in the lower 3D distortion. So I have to be careful playing in it. And I have to make sure that I'm purposing it in the correct way so that I'm always bringing it into my 9D perspective, and I'm not creating through it in the lower timeline where it resides. Okay, so I hope you guys understand that, because that's really important. All right, so we want to get into those creator codes and really expand our consciousness and use them in so many different ways to bring through freedom, help support our shift in this time that we're going through, everything is intensified. The energies are going to feel intensified. If you're having headaches, please rest. Headaches are crown expansion. It is merely your molecular body that is going through an upgrade. Everything is going through an expansion. Okay. The last couple of days, I would heat up from the inside, and then I would get icy cold to where I had these chills running down my spine. And I know whenever I'm going through that, I'm going through upgrades. Okay. So we're going into expansion, the heating up. We're going into contraction, the cooling down. And when we're contracted, we go within to then expand again. All right. This is a cycle. It's how it works. There's really nothing new to tell you on the energies. It's all as it's always been. Please check back on some of my other videos explaining, especially my ascension symptoms video. It's ascension upgrades, not ascension symptoms. We want to be careful with the words that we're speaking, so we're not speaking in the lower distorted 3D timeline. Everything can support us if we're allowing it to, if we're in our awareness for how that works. All right. So I'm going to leave it here. If there is anything that you'd like me to do a video on, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Leave me a comment on how you're doing and what you're experiencing. Especially since we haven't checked in with each other for a while. I love hearing from you guys. I know I was a little busy promoting my Ascension Mastery School, but we're back underway with the next level on that. So that's pretty exciting. That probably won't open again until I think May, just because I have so much work on my plate right now. I have a lot of exciting things coming up, a few collaborations. I can't even speak. A few collaborations with some other people that I'm super excited about. So if you have something, just drop it below. I'd love to hear from you. Those of you that are brand new subscribers, thank you so much. That just like it keeps me coming back here and making videos. It keeps me tuned into the higher levels. It brings this collective community up into 9D, which is like so exciting because that's where we are headed. As I'm talking, what's floating in now, I really just want to take a minute. I noticed, and this was brought to my attention. I didn't notice it first, but it was brought to my attention by a few of you that there are commercials playing at the beginning of my video. Hopefully that's not happening during the video. I don't have control over that. I'm not monetized. My channel is not monetized. I don't foresee my channel being monetized. This is free content for you. So I am sorry about that. I apologize for the fact that there's commercials. I don't know how to turn that off. It seems to just happen, and it seems to be in alignment with whatever it is that I'm talking about. The other day I was talking about hearing, and a hearing aid commercial popped up. So I don't know about that. And then a few of you had messaged me and asked me, aside from the fact that this is a free content channel, you'd like to make a contribution. I sincerely appreciate that. That is 5D, just so you know, when we're sharing and caring and we're willing to give ourselves. I come here for you guys all the time. So thank you so much to those of you that want to contribute back to me. Really means a lot to me in helping me keep the channel going. I do have a donations link that's below. There's a donations tab on my website, on my page at my website, for if you want to make a monetary contribution. However, I do have an art obsession, and I do love art supplies. And I believe that I've also have a link to my list of my wish list on Amazon. So if you feel like gifting an art supply, I would love that too, because I I think I have an addiction to art here. But that's okay. It's a good addiction because it keeps us up in the creative states, right? And that's how we do this. So to those of you who have contributed, because I have received, thank you so much. Again, we're here to help each other, right? We're here for the sharing and the caring of each other. So those of you that are really coming into that understanding and sharing that awareness in the most heartfelt and sincere way, thank you so, so much. It really just means a lot to me. And to those of you that are subscribed, that come back here on a regular, please hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I have a new video out. Your support as a subscriber to this channel means the world to me. If you never do anything else, just subscribing to the channel and creating a community here of like-mindedness, because it's always going to be my intention to bring us into the highest timelines, right? We don't play in the victimhood consciousness. That has no place here. We're always going to be in the highest timelines that are available to us as we co-create together. So when I come here, I might have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about as the talking points that I want to bring forward. But for some reason, the collective you, us, puts a spin on it. And then I end up talking about things like fibromyalgia. So I don't know if there's somebody out there that needed that, that was coming through and it was strong and it wanted to present. It's just how it is. So I'm really excited about all of this. I don't know. I'm looking at my numbers going up, which is also very exciting, right? I have this goal for 1,000. I don't know what I'm going to do when I hit 1,000. I want to do something special. I'm not really sure what it's going to be. So that's something to ponder and keep in mind. But in any case, I know I'm rambling, but I'm just happy to be here with you guys. I just want you to know that. Love you so much. Again, I have so much appreciation for all of you, for every single one of you. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful, whatever it is that you're doing. I don't know if I'll be making another video, but if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving this year. As always, I mean, every year I do have so much thanks, gratitude and appreciation for the work that I do, for where I am on my path, and for all of you amazing, amazing, beautiful souls that I have been able to interact with and meet along my journey. You are so amazing. I am just beyond grateful, beyond appreciation. I mean, just always in the most infinite, abundant love when I come on here, and I could feel it radiating through before I even post this video, because it's you guys, it's the community as we come together as a collective. Okay. So I just want to share that with you. Just know that I love you so, so much. I look forward to connecting again soon. I wish you a wonderful, whatever it is that you're doing, and take care. Bye-bye.